Alright, in this video we'll be going over and reviewing the GOC Materia 8-string headless, as you can see. Alright, so first we'll go over the specs. The scale length is a 25.5 inch scale to a 27 inch scale. The neck is Canadian maple on this model, but comes in wenge as well. The finish is urethane, and I believe this finish color is antique brown is what they call it. The neck support is dual carbon fiber rods, and on the fretboard it is also Canadian maple, and I believe the wenge is also wenge. Frets are jumbo steel, stainless steel, glued and rounded on the ends. It has a zero nut, stainless steel as well, just like the rest of the frets. And the neck is bolted on with 6 bolts. It's pretty neat, pretty reassuring. The neck is in place. The body is a North American solid ash, open pore. Pickups are 4th dimension Alnico 5 calibrated set. The bridge system is a GOC bell brass headless bridge system that I guess they made themselves. I got a deal on this. You can see that it's in red finish, but normally they're in black. And I'm fairly certain that if you asked them, they told me they had different colors: blue, gold, probably chrome too. I think was one of the options. Also, I'm the one who upgraded the knob to a red one and also the switch, so I don't know, they probably could do it too, but that's what I did myself, and just a heads up that I did that myself. 1 volume knob, 3-way switch, and then the straps are jumbo strap pins. It was Black Friday. I was looking for something to get, saved up and looking for good deals, and I went shopping, didn't find anything. And then I was like, oh, you know what? It's been a while since I got a new guitar. Why don't I get a guitar? And obviously there were some Black Friday deals going on. A friend of mine told me about this, and for the price, which was $650 for the guitar, and then it's like $75 for shipping, it was a pretty good deal. Got in contact with GOC, and they're pretty good in communication. I asked them how much it was going to be, what were the options, whatnot, and they told me that, hey, we got this guitar, we have it with a colored bridge. He's like, we can make a deal with that, and it's like, yeah, sure. So I just went for it, and that's how I got it. Took about 2 weeks to get here. I think it was less than that. Definitely took less time than my NK. And communication was great. He kept me up to date on, like, all right, the guitar is ready, I'm gonna ship it out. It's shipped, and then he said, it was like, okay, it should be there about now. Can you respond to me and say that if it's there? And it's like, all right. And so, like, communication was really good versus the NK, where it's like you pay and they're like, give you your thanks, and then that's it. And you're just like, they gave you the shipping information, and I don't know. It didn't take that long for the NK to the point where I had messaged him and say, hey, what's going on? But I just wanted to point out that they're really good at communicating with their customers. I want to point out that they're doing a run. It's pretty neat. Currently for this exact same model, but I believe you can still get this in both the 6 and 7 string formats. Maybe not the 6, but definitely the 7, and of course the 8, and different finishes as well. And then they come with Guitar Mori pickups, if I'm pronouncing that right. Right, so let's talk about the defects, because obviously no guitar is perfect. First we'll start off with the fretboard, and I gotta say there's some sharpness on the frets, and I don't want to say it was like this from the beginning. It's been getting pretty cold where I live, so it might have something to do with that, but I did notice a little bit when I first got this. And I do say a little, it's like you gotta really put it in there and to feel it. And yeah, you can barely feel it when you're going up and down, but when you're like moving your hand up on it, that's when you start feeling it a bit more. But something to point out, They're not exactly perfect, but you know, for the price, you don't expect it to be perfect. You want perfect fret ends. It's gonna cost $1,000, more than $1,000, to get a guitar like that. Um, but besides that, it seems like everywhere it looks nice. You know, no fret tool marks. Um, they glued the ends very nicely. There's maybe one, two. Yeah, basically that's it. Just two ends that weren't glued all the way, but it does seem that they almost got it all the way. But I was just looking at that. Besides that, there's like no other defects. It's a nice gloss finish, no indents, no scrapes, no nothing. And like I said, from what I've seen, all there is just kind of sharp fret ends, and it's just something to point out. But like I said, it's not that bad. All right. Next up, I want to say it's not much of a defect, but something annoying. The pickups. Obviously, these pickups are their proprietary pickups. They made them themselves, and they sound pretty decent. They're not that bad. They're definitely not the kind of pickups you get on a guitar and it's like, nope, get them out of there. Let's get different pickups. But obviously, if you want the best guitar, you know, for your setup, you would upgrade them. But these get the job done, is what I'm saying. But what I'm saying in terms of the annoying, not a defect thing, was I tried to raise the pickups, and it was to the point that I was loosening the screws, and you know, they popped out, and then it's like there's nothing there to support. I don't know if it's foam. I'll definitely look into it. I got my new strings, so I'll be able to take them out and see what's going on, and if it needs something for support so you can raise and lower it, I'll just get it myself. But just something to point out. Like I said, I'm trying to put out all the defects, if you consider that a defect, or just something that should have been taken care of right from the start. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about is not a defect, but more than a small issue, and that's with the bridge system. First, I want to point out that this is the best bridge system that I've used so far. That ain't saying much, since the only other headless guitar I had was the NK. It keeps in tune very well. I've had no issues, and dare I say it keeps its tune as about as good as enough as a hardtail bridge, or maybe even a Floyd Rose. So the system is very good. So the very small defect was that when I was tuning them, they sometimes rub against each other, which each individual saddle for each string. It's not that big of an issue. Now that I know that's there, I just try my best not to force it too much so that it gets off center. And yeah, this is more of an issue for when I'm tuning the standard or something where there's a lot more tension for the strings and it's harder to tune. But now that I know that happens, I try my best not to force it down or, you know, put too much pressure to try to tune it. So that's why in the ends there's like I guess something there to do it with the tool, so there's not any force downward or upward. I just put it in there and, you know, do it the right way, I suppose. But now that I know it's there, like I said, I stop it from doing it. It's very small. Yeah, so overall I say go ahead, and if you're looking for an 8-string headless guitar, get this one. You know, obviously there's more guitars they made, guitar models, and more options too. If you want an 8, there's 7 and 6-string versions of this one as well. And if you're looking to get one soon, I definitely would recommend going for the run. It's a pretty good bang for your buck, and fairly certain that it costs a lot cheaper if you go with the run than buying the guitar afterwards. And there's options, like I said, there's upgraded pickups and then different finishes and options as well, like the fretboard. So my overall review of this guitar is that it's pretty good bang for your buck. I'm gonna say that overall it cost me about $700. Pretty sure, like, without the Black Friday sale, it cost around $900. But even at that, I think it's a very good buy. It's very, very little defects, and to be honest, it should be worth more. A lot of people say that their guitars should be worth at the $1,500 up to $2,000 range, and I can honestly say I can see that. Alright, so that's going to do it for this video. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. I'm pretty good at responding. I'm going to see the issue with the pickups, and I'm going to put it in the comments as well, see if what's the issue with them not rising and whatnot. And yeah, for me, this is by far the best A string I bought for the money that I spent. So go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, whatnot, but it's a pretty good guitar, and if you're looking for something like this, definitely get it.